Hello students and welcome to today's video. Today we will be studying section 2 poetry in this video. And the poem that we are going to look at is 2.2 The Sower. Yes, you guessed it right from the name of the poem and the picture on the screen. We're talking about the farmers of our country and throughout the world. The Sower, my dear students, is a poem originally written by Victor Hugo. And this poem is a translation of Victor Hugo's poem. Now, Victor Hugo is a poet, novelist, and dramatist of the 19th century. And he was the most important of the French Romantic writers. Though regarded in France as one of the country's greatest poets, he is better known for novels as Notre Dame de Paris, 1831, and Les Miserables, 1862. So, such is the original poet, Victor Hugo. Okay, so the original poem is Victor Hugo's, and the translation into English, he has written the poem in French, and the translation is done by Torulata Dutt. Okay, so the Torulata Dutt has translated this poem into English. Now, Torulata Dutt is a Bengali poet, also known as Toru, and she wrote in English and French. She was born on 4th March 1856 in Kolkata, and she is considered to be the first Indian poetess to write verses in English and French. She has translated dozens of poems and completed a novel before her death at the age of 21. Her poems such as Sita, Lotus, and Our Casuarina Tree are very well loved. Now, the poem The Sower is a translation of Victor Hugo's poem Saison des Semelles, Les Soeurs. Okay, so that is the French name of this poem. And this poem was translated by Toru Lata Dutt in English. So she has translated it from French to English. And The Sower is a poem about a farmer who is sowing seeds. He has seen many bad harvests in his life. However, he is so optimistic of having a good harvest every time he tosses grain. Okay, so this poem, my dear students, spreads the message of optimism and hopefulness. What is optimism? Optimism means to be positive, to think positive. Okay, whatever situations you might face in life, you always must be positive about every situation and about the outcome that that situation is going to lead you to. So that is optimism and hopefulness that yes, somewhere something good is going to happen. Okay, and these two qualities are very much related to a farmer. We know every year, my dear students, and yes, as you know, farmers totally depend on their agricultural produce. Okay, and this produce depends on the nature's behavior. Okay, on the natural climate or weather, and that is not predictable. It is unpredictable. Sometimes it might rain a lot, sometimes it might not rain at all, sometimes there might be a very little rain. So these factors affect the farmer and his work every year, but that does not stop him from harvesting new crops every year again. Okay, so these two qualities are very much portrayed throughout this poem, and so without wasting much time, let's begin with the poem. But before that, since we have Torulata Dutt, a Bengali poet as in our Indian poet, so let us see a few thoughts that she shares with us. She says, plowing the fields, sowing the seeds, reaping harvest. The sons of the earth never get tired. Okay, so we know that the entire day and all through the months, the farmers work hard on the fields, they plow their fields, they sow the seeds, they reap the harvest, and they do all of these things tirelessly. Okay, so according to the poet and the translator of the poem Toru Dutt, poetry is not primarily a mirror of men in action. It is poet's own feelings while processing the composition. So, dear students, if you have taken deep interest in your English literature, you will see that poems were written by these poets, and they just are not written for the sake of writing, but they mirror the action of men, what men do around themselves, okay, around the surrounding, what men around the poet do, those things are portrayed in the poem. And while the poet sees these men doing all these kinds of things, what kind of feelings come out, or what kind of feelings emerge in the poet's minds, are written down or are penned down in the poems that we read. And we all must have experienced this while we read the several poems that you have been studying since your time in school. So, poems come out of the real life situations that touch the poet's heart. And the remarkable use of landscapes together with flora and fauna become the major theme of romantic poets. Okay, we have heard this term before, romantic poets. So it's not like, romantic poem is all about love and all that, but these poets, yes, are in love, but in love with the nature, with the landscape that they have around them. So those poets are known as the romantic poets. And in this poem also we can see such a kind of activities taking place. Now here this is a painting by Millet. Okay, now Millet is a world famous artist from France, okay, from a French background, and he has also portrayed the picture of the sower. Okay, they are also known as peasants. So these sower, now nobody in the world must have pictured or painted a farmer or a sower in a very lavish or very rich clothes. Okay, whenever you picturize a farmer, you can picturize him in a very simple tattered clothes, and he shows in his picture the practical pleasant clothing, and he is spreading the seeds in his farm in the picture. So it focuses on the farmer and his life, just like this poem. So there is a similarity between this painting and the poem that is written by Victor Hugo, translated by Torulata Dutt. So let's begin. But before that, I would like you to carefully listen to the entire poem once, okay? And then we will do the stanza wise explanation of the poem, okay?
The Sower by Victor Hugo. Sitting in a porchway cool, fades the ruddy sunlight fast, twilight hastens on to rule. Working hours are well nigh past. Shadows shoot across the lands, but one sower lingers still. Old in rags, he patient stands. Looking on, I feel a thrill. Black and high his silhouette dominates the furrows deep. Now to sow the task is set. Soon shall come a time to reap. Marches he along the plain, to and fro, and scatters wide from his hands the precious grain. Moody I to see him stride. Darkness deepens, gone the light. Now his gestures to mine eyes are august, and strange his height seems to touch the starry skies.
So, my dear students, I hope you heard the poem carefully. Now, let us understand every stanza in detail. The first stanza: sitting in a porchway cool, sunlight I see dying fast. Twilight hastens on to rule, working hours have well nigh passed. Now, as you can see here in the picture, this is known as the porchway. So, the poet is sitting on the porchway, okay, and as he's sitting there, he can see the sunlight which is fading slowly. That is, it is almost evening, and now it will be night. So the twilight hastens to rule, means the twilight or the beginning of the night is coming fast, okay, is hurrying up, and it is now going to be night. So the sunlight is fading fast and the twilight is coming up. Working hours have well nigh passed. So surely by the end of the day, we all finish our work, we all end our day at work, and we return back to our houses. Okay, so that is what the thought is in the poet's mind while he's sitting on the porchway, that yes, it is now almost the end of the day, night is going to begin, and the working hours have ended. So he watches and he sees that at such time there are people who return back from home work. People stop their work and they are not seen anywhere as they go back to their homes. Okay, so here you can see the picture of the porchway, and here twilight, the soft glowing light from the sky. The second stanza: shadows run across the lands, but a sower lingers still. Old in rags, he patient stands, looking on. I feel a thrill. But he can see a shadow. There is nothing in the land, but the shadows which shoot or which run across, okay, all over the places. However, among these shadows, the poet sees one sower. Okay, there are other people who are running away maybe towards their homes. Okay, but there is one shadow that he sees of the sower. Now, who is the sower? The farmer. He is referring to the farmer here. Now, he stays on the farms. Okay, he stays on the farm. His clothes are old, he is old, the clothes are torn, they are tattered, and he stands there on the farm patiently, and watching the farmer, the poet feels a thrill, as to he feels excited as to why this farmer is still lingering or roaming around or hanging around, is remaining on the farm. Why is he not going home? Because it's the end of the day and it's time for him to rest, take a break from the entire day's hard work. So why is he not going back home? So looking at him, he feels excited, he feels thrilled. Okay, so the farmer has been doing these activities of plowing and all, cleaning the farm throughout the day. The third stanza: black and high, his silhouette dominates the furrows deep. Now to sow the task is set, soon shall come a time to reap. Now, I told you it's the end of the day. So, towards the end of the day, because the light is fading, you can see this black figure. Okay, it is known as the silhouette. Okay, it's the shape or outline of someone against a brighter background. So, here the sun is a brighter background, and when you look at the farmer, okay, you can see only his silhouette, only his outline. Okay, so black outline or the silhouette, he is dominating the furrows. Now what are furrows? Here you can see these line or trenches that he has made, okay, with the help of this animal here, and the implement he's using here, okay, the plow. So with the help of this, he is making these furrows, and he has finished doing that. Now his task is said that he shall sow the seeds in these furrows, and then soon there will be a time where he can reap his harvest. Okay, he it spreads over deep furrows made by the plow, okay, of the farmer, and he sees how the time has now come for him to sow the seeds. The next stanza now, here you can see the picture. Next stanza: marches he along the plain to and fro and scatters wide. From his hands the precious grain muse I as I see him stride. Now, in the fourth stanza, the sower, the farmer, he marches or walks to and fro, means from one end of the farm to the other end and back to the first one. So he goes in towards one direction, turns back, comes again here, again he turns back, goes to the other direction. So like that, he is walking to and fro from one end of the farm to the other and scattering the precious grain from his hand. Now, why the grains are precious, my dear students? The grains are precious because they will grow into crops and will make the sower prosperous. Okay, and hence they are precious. The poet becomes moody here. Okay, that is, he becomes sad by seeing him struggling so much. Okay, we are at home, we get everything ready made, we get these fruits, vegetables, grains, everything ready made in the shops, in the malls, and we do not realize the hard work that the farmer who has taken to give us this produce. Okay, so, looking at all this, the poet is just looking at him. He's resting in thoughts, he's lost in thoughts, and he's reflecting as he sees the farmer working so hard, as he sees him struggling so much. Okay, but with the hope. Now, here also, my dear students, there is a lesson for young students or young people like you, and one should work hard while others give up. Okay, others have gone home while the farmer is still working hard. So no matter you find that others are not doing anything and why am I working hard, no problem, continue doing this, and this way you will be able to get fruits of your dedication. Okay, always remember this. So with this we'll move on to the next stanza. So here we see the farmer who moves back and forward. He's scattering the precious grains with his hands, and it is the symbol of prosperity. Okay, why? Because these grains will grow into crops and they will bring him wealth for his future. Then stanza 5. Darkness deepens, fades the light. Now his gestures to mine eyes are august and strange. His height seems to touch the starry skies. Now here it has almost become dark. The darkness has deepened, the night has appeared, and the daylight is no more. And here the poet cannot see the gestures, the activities of the farmer properly, but they seem to be strange, which he cannot understand now because he is doing something, and because it is dark, the poet is not able to understand exactly what the farmer is doing. Okay, in the darkness. In the final line, the poet says that the height of the sower seems to touch the starry sky. That is, it becomes so dark that he becomes invisible. Okay. Also, maybe that the poet, the farmer, who seems to look at the poet in a very noble or dignified manner with that hope that, see, yes, I have sown the seeds and I'm very hopeful, I'm very positive, I'm very optimistic about the outcome that I will be getting with my hard work. Okay, so he is supposed to be excited, he's supposed to be hopeful, he's supposed to have these feelings that, yes, surely this year things will happen in my favor, the climate will be good, the weather will be good, my crops will grow, they will prosper, and they will bring me a very good yield, which will bring me good wealth. Okay, so with this feeling, the farmer ends his day after toiling so hard on the farm, right from the sunrise to sunset, and this he does in the hope of a brighter future. Okay, so my dear students, with this we end the poem, and the conclusion of the poem is that the poem, which is titled The Sower, which is written by Victor Hugo, is a magnificent poem dealing with both nature and humanistic features. Here you see nature's behavior, okay, with the farmer, And also humanistic feature means the farmer's nature, okay, the farmer's nature towards his work. The words are very carefully selected and have detailed description of each and every event that happens in front of the poet. The poem also was translated by the famous writer, Indian writer Toru Dutt, and she is a well-known Indian writer, as we saw in the beginning of the poem. And the translation is considered as most appreciated among all the other translations of the poem. Okay, so yes, Torulata Dutt brings us a wonderful poem which was originally written in French, and we are able to study that because it was translated by her in English. Okay, so I hope you have understood the poem. Please read the poem on page number 72. I'm sure you will be able to understand it better when you read it by yourself. Okay, so read the poem. We will discuss about the further details of the poem, the rhyme scheme and rhyming words and the appreciation in the next video, or maybe I will be sending you some notes. So until then, thank you and have a nice day.